this video, I want to share with you how exactly you can find your trade entry without using indicator. One of the greatest challenges we have as a trader is ability to do our analysis correctly, find a correct trade entry, and how to get our entry confirmation and the right place to put our stop loss. Now, and that is exactly what I'll be showing you in this video, how you can do your analysis correctly, how exactly you can get your entry confirmation, and as well as your entry trigger as far as trading is concerned. Alright, so let's go. If you look at this, price has been in an uptrend. So you can see higher low, higher high, higher low, and the higher high. So look at what happened here. From this point, price begins to give us what? A lower high, another lower high. So when we had this first one and this second one, it becomes a change of character. And of course, you have this bottom sitting here. All of these zones were broken. So from here, we had a break of structure. Now that we had a break of structure, we now knew obviously that we have an order block. So the question is, where is our order block? So here is our typical order block. So what happened? You'll be patient enough for price to pull into our order block. And if you look again, you realize that we're having a liquidity that is sitting at that zone. So here is a liquidity, and we have this liquidity sitting here. So if you observe carefully, this liquidity that was sitting here, price does what? Price took away this liquidity to mitigate this particular order block. And this would have been your sell entry. And from that sell entry, you would have sell all the way to this point. So after that, price creates a new low for us. And when price creates a new low, this becomes our recent order block. So here is our recent order block. And after that order block, if you look carefully, we are having a a fair value gap. So look at here, we have this gap here, and more also this gap here. So if we should mark out this gap, let's mark out the gap and see exactly what we are referring to. So we had this gap, and look at what happened. Very powerful gap. Price pulled back simultaneously into retesting that gap. So you see this joint. See how price tapped into a sniper entry. Then you have this particular confirmation. You see that bearish hammer. So our sell would have been here, but I didn't see that earlier. And then here I am in this trade. So you can see how that is playing out. Very, very important. You can see how I did the analysis, and then my point of interest, which is the zone I'm expecting price to come for me to make my entry, and how I got into that trade. Now I have other pairs with that same illustration. Let's look at Boom 1000. Now you can see Boom 1000, right? If you look at this point, obviously look at what was happening on Boom 1000. Here on Boom 1000, we're having price giving us what? Lower high, sorry, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then we did what? We have this higher low, and then we have this higher high. So after that, look at what happened. Price moved to the downside. Okay, price came down and that becomes, do you see this? Price break this zone to the downside. And if you look at this zone carefully, you realize that there is a liquidity sweep. Liquidity was taken by this candle. So this liquidity was taken. So automatically, this candle that take away liquidity becomes our institutional candle. And if you don't know much about liquidity, you can watch our previous video where we discussed about liquidity. That will help greatly. So you can see this. So that was a liquidity sweep. Those little pin, this little pin you are seeing on this bearish pin bar is a liquidity sweep. Alright. After that liquidity was taken, we'll now mark out the institutional candle that took away that liquidity. We had it marked out. So you can see that sniper entry. So here was our break of structure. Our BOS. Sell the price return, tap into it, sniper entry, and then price split to the downside. Now, if you miss that particular entry here, like myself, I missed that entry. What is the next thing I am looking out for? I observed that when price was coming down, price left here a smart money cube. So this particular candle is a smart money cube. So I will highlight it now so you can see it correctly. Right, beautifully well. I had that smart money cube. And look at what happened. Price does what? Price came down, went back, returned the smart money cube. I was patient enough for price to close below those range. And when price closed below it, that is how I came into that sell. And of course, you can see how it is playing out up to date. Again, I have crash 500. This crash 500. How do I make this trade entry? I observe at my chart. Price is giving me a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and a lower low. So what happened? Carefully, price breaks structure. And if you look at this zone, this is a break of structure. So you can see that this particular lower high was broken. This lower high was broken by the movement of price to the upside. So when that particular one happened, I marked out my other block, which is my institutional candle that took away liquidity. So this is my institutional candle marked out carefully. And if you look very well, you realize that we are having a smart one, a fair value gap to this zone. So I'm going to mark everything together for clarity purpose. So you see how I mark it. Now that is it. So after, look at what happened now. After price break structure, took this liquidity, price went up and then price played around and come back into this zone. Give us a bullish confirmation. So here, there will be my buy entry. So my first buy entry was here. So after I missed that particular entry, right? Price left here now. Sorry. Price left here and then create a new higher high. Right? After price create that new higher high, we push to the upside. Price came down, give us a new higher low. This higher low was created in this fair value gap. But however, how did I come in with my entry? When I opened my chart, this was exactly where I saw price. So I did my analysis, decided to use my trend line You said, okay, if price should be able to break out of this point, then this is actually a buy continuation. So my entry should have been here, but because I was aggressive, I don't want to miss this. And to me, the stop loss is minimal. So I came in immediately at this point. And of course, you can see that playing out beautifully well. So this is how exactly you can do your analysis. So my next point of interest now is this particular here. I have other block here, because of course you can see that now we have this higher low, we have this higher high, we have this higher low, we have this higher high, we have this higher low. So we are having a new, already have a new higher high. So if price should pull back, I will look for another bullish confirmation and then buy to create a new higher high. This is how it works, and I believe you have learned something new. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification to be the first to get notified when we upload our next video. Thank you, and see you in the subsequent video.